In the cradle of civilization, where the rivers Tigris and Euphrates carve their way through the dusty plains of Mesopotamia, a mystery older than history itself still whispers in the stones. A place scholars call Sumer, but ancient legends called the Land of the Gods. It was here, over 6,000 years ago, that humanity seemed to awaken almost overnight. They built cities. They mapped the stars. They created writing, mathematics, laws, and art. And according to their own records, they did not do it alone. The Sumerians told stories of powerful beings who descended from the heavens, the Anunnaki, who shaped the destiny of mankind. But who were these mysterious gods? And could they be more than mere myth? Archaeologists have long marveled at how suddenly the Sumerian world appeared. From scattered villages, humanity leapt into complex urban centers like Ur, Uruk, and Eridu, complete with irrigation systems, temples, and kings who ruled by divine command. How could a people who had just emerged from prehistory master agriculture, astronomy, and architecture with such precision? For some, this is simply the story of human genius. But for others, the answer lies beyond this world. In clay tablets buried beneath the sands, the Sumerians left behind their own explanation. Cuneiform writings, among the oldest ever discovered, tell of the Anunnaki, a race of divine beings who came from the sky to shape the earth and its inhabitants. According to ancient myths, the Anunnaki were the offspring of the god Anu, the ruler of the heavens, and Kai, the goddess of the earth. They were said to have descended to earth to establish order, to create kingship, and to oversee humanity's progress. Yet some translations hint at something more, at the idea that these gods were not merely celestial in a spiritual sense, but perhaps, quite literally, visitors from the stars. Modern interpretations of these myths began to take shape in the 20th century, largely through the work of author Zecharia Sitchin. In his controversial Earth Chronicles series, Sitchin proposed that the Anunnaki were extraterrestrial beings from a distant planet, Nibiru, a world that supposedly enters our solar system once every few thousand years. According to this theory, the Anunnaki came to Earth in search of gold, a precious element they needed to repair their planet's atmosphere. Finding the metal in abundance on Earth, they began mining operations in ancient Mesopotamia and Africa. But the task was grueling. And so, the story says, they engineered a solution, the creation of a new species, a hybrid being capable of physical labor. The result was humankind. The Sumerian creation stories, preserved in tablets like the Enuma Elish and the Epic of Atrahasis, describe the gods shaping man from clay and the essence of the divine. In Sitchin's interpretation, this was not metaphor but genetic engineering, a merging of Anunnaki DNA with early hominids. Thus, humanity was born, half divine, half earthly. It's a bold claim. Mainstream scholars dismiss it as imaginative pseudoscience. Yet, it continues to fascinate millions. Why? Because the ancient records themselves are filled with details that feel strangely specific, almost technological. The tablets speak of the black-headed people, mankind, serving their divine masters in labor and ritual. They describe the gods descending in fiery chariots and residing in ziggurats, massive temples that rose toward the heavens like launch pads of stone. In the Sumerian King List, kingship is said to have been lowered from heaven. Before the Great Flood, it tells of rulers who reigned for tens of thousands of years. Reigns far beyond any human lifespan. To historians, these are mythic exaggerations, but to those who see a deeper truth, they may record a time when gods and humans walked side by side, or when visitors from the stars ruled the earth. One of the most intriguing stories is that of Enki and Enlil, two rival gods of the Anunnaki. Enki, the god of wisdom and water, is said to have cared deeply for humanity. Enlil, god of air and authority, often saw humans as noisy, troublesome, and expendable. In the myths, Enlil decides to wipe out mankind with a great flood. But Enki, defying him, warns a human named Ziusudra, the Sumerian version of Noah, instructing him to build a great vessel to preserve life. It is one of the earliest flood stories known to humanity, predating the book of Genesis by centuries. And it begs the question, were all these ancient flood myths born from a shared human memory, or from a single, cataclysmic event witnessed by civilizations across the globe? The Sumerians were not only great storytellers, they were also scientists in their own right. They mapped the movements of planets, identified the constellations, and tracked celestial cycles with astonishing accuracy. Some tablets even describe the solar system, mentioning planets unseen by the naked eye. To believers in the Ancient Astronaut Theory, this is proof that they inherited advanced astronomical knowledge from their gods, or their extraterrestrial teachers. To skeptics, it's coincidence, poetic imagination, or later reinterpretation. But either way, the precision of Sumerian knowledge remains one of the great enigmas of early history. If the Anunnaki were real, if they did shape early humanity, then what became of them? Where did they go? The legends say that after a time, they withdrew. Some returned to the heavens. Others stayed behind, ruling through bloodlines of kings and priests, ensuring their legacy would echo through millennia. And echo it did. The names of Sumer's gods would evolve across cultures, Anu becoming El, Enki becoming Ea, Inanna transforming into Ishtar, the goddess of love and war. Their symbols, their myths, even their sacred numbers would ripple through Akkadian, Babylonian, Assyrian, and Hebrew traditions. It is as if the Anunnaki never truly vanished, only changed names. Today, some researchers point to global similarities in myth as evidence of a shared origin. Why do so many ancient cultures, from the Maya to the Egyptians to the Sumerians, speak of gods descending from the sky, teaching humanity agriculture, astronomy, and writing? Are these mere coincidences born of human imagination, or faint memories of contact with something or someone far greater than ourselves? For decades, mainstream archaeology has pushed back against such ideas. There is no physical proof of alien intervention, no spacecraft buried in the sands of Mesopotamia, no DNA samples of otherworldly origin. But even among skeptics, the speed of Sumerian advancement remains astonishing. One moment, humanity was scattered in simple settlements. The next, we had organized governments, written language, complex mathematics, and monumental architecture. Could all of this really have been achieved in just a few centuries of human evolution? Or, as the Sumerians themselves claimed, were we taught, perhaps the power of the Anunnaki myth lies not in whether it is literally true, but in what it reveals about humanity's enduring search for meaning. From the dawn of time, we have looked to the skies, wondering if someone, somewhere, once looked back. Every civilization has placed its gods among the stars. Maybe, deep down, we've always known that our story is connected to something cosmic. Whether the Anunnaki were real beings, divine symbols, or misunderstood memories of early encounters, their legend endures, carved in stone, written in cuneiform, and whispered through 6,000 years of history. Imagine the night sky over ancient Sumer. Torches flicker on the ziggurats. Priests chant to the heavens, awaiting signs from above. Somewhere beyond those stars, Perhaps the Sumerians believed their creators watched, guiding, judging, waiting for the right time to return. It's a haunting thought. What if our origins are not confined to Earth at all? What if humanity itself is the legacy of the gods who came from the stars? Of course, science demands evidence, and until proof emerges, the Anunnaki remain part of myth and speculation. A story written in clay, shaped by faith, wonder, and imagination. But maybe the truth of the Anunnaki is not about extraterrestrials or gold mines. Maybe it's about something deeper. The ancient human intuition that we are connected to the universe, that our spark of life came from beyond. We're not just searching for aliens, we're searching for ourselves, for the moment when dust became consciousness, when creation looked up and saw its reflection in the stars. The tablets of Sumer have survived empires, floods, and time itself. They speak of gods who walked the earth, of destinies shaped by beings beyond our world. And while scholars debate and skeptics doubt, one truth remains unshaken. The story of the Anunnaki has never died. It endures as a whisper from our most ancient past, and perhaps as a message for our future. Maybe, just maybe, the gods never left. If the past still whispers to you, tell us what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more forgotten mysteries.